I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was thinking about
It's late at night. Better call Saul.
that game.
It's a sex hotline.
Streets of L.A. Remember Streets of L.A.?
True crimes.
True Crimes.
Okay, yeah.
And I was thinking, why don't Rockstar needs to make the GTA equivalent of being like a cop?
They
Wouldn't
did.
When?
L.A. Noir.
No.
That's a noir.
I'm talking
Okay,
about
so
modern.
I'm
talking about use GTA because they were investigating and the mechanics of LA
Who's to
Noir
say they
sucks.
won't?
I'm not saying they
Because
won't.
Lost and the Damned came out after GTA
True.
4 and then Ballad of Gay Tony, and those are different characters.
Right.
But it was still within
In the same world.
I mean, they could.
Right.
I'm just saying that it would. I think there's a lot of potential there for a great game that's not being tapped right now.
No, I mean, but they got Sleeping Dogs.
But that's still the same thing.
You're not a cop, though.
You are a cop in
You're
Sleeping Dogs.
undercover.
Oh, you are? Yeah, right.
But it's not
Sorry.
the same. I'm talking about like
I was thinking about Watch Dogs. That's what
because
screwed me up.
with Sleeping Dogs, it's it's all about the triads and you're undercover, and I'm not talking
It's
about
more
that.
like a kung fu movie almost.
Basically, I'm talking about like an actual cop, like a detective. No, you don't even have to
What?
be plain
So
clothes.
Hong Kong cops aren't real cops,
No, they're
Marco?
not real cops. I don't believe it. No, but it was too. Sleeping Dogs was too narrative driven, like a game where you could actually be a cop. Like random events pop up and you would investigate like a murder or a burglary.
This is actually a perfect segue, Marco.
Okay.
Because IGN recently had a pretty interesting article on Battlefield Hardline coming out, where they brought up some points that I was kind of thinking about myself, which is with how people perceive police and police brutality. Is it really responsible to come out with a game like Battlefield?
Yeah, because
Hardline.
Because it's a game.
It is a game, but at the same time, Battlefield's known as a game that you just shoot everything. They give the option to shoot everything. You can blow up buildings.
Like a real cop.
Like a real cop. So they brought up that question, and apparently a guy that was able to preview a little snippet of the game really appreciated the fact that you don't have to go around running and gunning. They give you a bunch of non-lethal options that are actually fun to play with.
That's right. Yeah. They got the tasers.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be enough for
but
the
I don't
game.
want to headshot someone with a taser.
And, well, that's what I'm saying, too.
Unless it's awesome. and their brain, explodes out the side of their head.
It is. It wouldn't be enough for them to give you the option of doing that if it wasn't fun to do.
Right.
Because you play a game because it's fun. So if it's more fun to pull out a machine gun and shoot the criminal instead of tasing him, you're going to do that.
Well, the thing is, in other Battlefields, you weren't fighting criminals, you were fighting terrorists.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, military. So it's a completely different thing. It just seems very dangerous to make a game that used to be about shooting terrorists and soldiers and put it onto being a police officer trying to,
What? Shoot gang members.
Yeah.
Suspected gang members.
Allegedly.
Well, that's the difference. A terrorist is a terrorist. That's it. There's no in between.
There's no
they
gray
need
area.
to die. But no, I'm serious. There's no
It's an
let's
on-off
talk
switch.
about him. Let's talk to him. Let's
reason with this terrorist.
He deserves his day in court. No, you kill a terrorist, but a criminal, you don't kill a criminal. They get their day in court. They get fair treatment. That's the difference, and that's why it's going to be harder for them to just be. But to your point, what you were saying earlier, I mean, you may have said it in jest, but that is a good point. Like tasing somebody and wanting to see their brain explode. That's the point. It's a fucking video game.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it may be irresponsible to have a game come out around this time because of the times are so.
In a post-Ferguson world.
Right.
People are kind of edgy about
Post-Ferguson.
Post-Martin.
Post-Martin. Post-Brown.
Stuff like that. It does seem irresponsible, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, that is a minority of the people who play video games. Do we not do things now just because these people would be offended?
Right. Well,
And that goes back to hatred, too.
Yeah. I hear the same kind of, argument happening there. The thing for me, though, that I've seen within that game, within Hardline, is that it's played, the storyline from what I've seen seems very much like a Fast and Furious movie. It is supposed to be bombastic and, you're not an everyday patrolman, on your beat. That's not it. You know, you play as...
Pretty quiet today.
yeah, just drive around.
Just swinging his nightstick.
It's a walking simulator. Say hello to some children. But yeah, I mean, like, it's played up, obviously. It's supposed to be like a blockbuster action movie. So it doesn't bother me when I see him pull out a machine gun, because I'm like, it's like an action movie.
Well, that's because we were fortunate enough to be like on the cusp of cop action movies.
Yeah,
you know?
The late 80s, early 90s.
Right. We were young enough, but still, or we were young, but still there when those were kind of like coming out.
Yeah.
On like VHS. We caught like the last Beverly Hills and the last Lethal Weapons. And we watched the first ones because of the last ones. So for us, it's different, but like for a new generation of like 14, 15-year-olds, they don't have cop dramas like that. They have the other guys, and they have... Exactly.
The other guys.
No, I mean that's a good point too. Like
22 Jump Street.
They
got 22 Jump
We do have that good reference point of just like insane, like the Expendables is only gonna be worth it to people like us, like kids, like growing up. They're gonna be like, "What's
this?
I
Is
don't
stupid.
get
Yeah, like
why
they
there's so
don't-
many old people.
They
in
don't
one
make
movie.
movies like Expendables anymore.
Right.
Or they haven't since we were kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kids don't have a good reference point. The only reference point they have is what they see on social media, and what they see on social media
Or
is things
video
like
games.
Ferguson and
Right.
things like that. Yeah. So if that's their only reference point, then yeah, they're gonna have a skewed version of it than what we have. We can see video game violence and movie violence and real violence and be able to tell the difference and not be desensitized to it because we get the difference. But people growing up now, they might not get the difference.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's hard to consider like the view and like the conscious of someone who came into a generation of realistic video games.
Yeah.
Because we came from like
Mario.
shitty
We
Nintendo
watched
64.
them evolve.
Right.
So.
Now video games are more realistic than ever. Like you look at it and it's kind of difficult to sometimes it's difficult like in Advanced Warfare, graphics are great.
Yeah.
The facial features are amazing, and it's hard to tell like this isn't like a movie, you know. And the only thing that does is when, you know, it's something ridiculous happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a weird thing to think about that we're able, because we came in during shitty technology, we can easily separate
Right.
reality and fiction.
Right.
We have a broader spectrum.
Like our generation looks at the younger generation, like when people, you know, do all this crazy shit when they shoot up schools and stuff like that, and we look at them like how, like when they blame video games and movies and stuff like that, it's like, how do they not get it? Maybe that's why.
I hear your point, but at the same time, I mean, that's been a conversation piece since Columbine. You know, so
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yep. Quick segue to get us out of this topic is, what do you guys think that they can do to make it so that it's not like how can they make that game responsibly without it being this sort of, you know, drummed up thing that people are going to have a problem with? How can they make it fun but still represent the
Just at the very end, the cops are like, "Stay in school, don't do drugs," and they put their thumbs up,
Yeah.
and then it just zooms out.
And then it's like a picture like Police Academy or something.
Yeah,
everybody's
That's
high-fiving in the air?
so sweet, nice.
I don't think they can.
No loose ends.
I don't think
There's no way.
I mean, even if they make it so that you can't shoot anybody but like
Somebody shooting at you?
Right. Like you can only defend yourself. Even at that point, it's like, well, you can use non-lethal methods to take down these criminals, and you know, if too many of the criminals are black, then they'll have a problem. You know, somebody's going to have a problem with that. If too many of the if the criminal base is not diverse enough,
if it's too ethnic,
right?
and not when I say ethnic, what do you think of?
I think of all ethnic people.
All ethnicities?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. I mean, if we're speaking seriously.
I don't see colors.
I mean, not that I don't see. No, I see them all. That's
Rainbow
what I'm saying.
Coalition.
If you say ethnicity, I think like every. I think
Well, the thing
that
anytime I
diversity.
hear the word ethnicity, it's usually being like spewed from a white newscaster. So that has me, I guess, predisposed to be like, all right, well, ethnicity is anybody that's not white.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is such a weird norm, right? Like, white people have ethnicities.
They have an ethnic background.
But they're not. Not according to our perception of ethnicity.
Which is,
That's dumb.
why don't we recognize European descent?
Society's dumb.
We just call someone a white person, white girl, white boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hispanics are Puerto Rican, Cuban.
I
or just good old Mexican.
Because they just don't celebrate that ethnicity, you know? Like a white person who's, you know, part German, part Irish, blah, blah, blah. When they say that, you know, they say that, but they don't celebrate that. A person who's Hispanic, they celebrate, not usually, they celebrate Puerto Rican or Colombian, their descent, they celebrate it. Like, white people don't do that. They're just white. I mostly blame white people for that perception.
Do you think it's because
it's their fault? They don't celebrate that. That ethnicity.
Do you think it's because like the majority of like I guess Hispanic people that I know are pretty much first generation Americans?
I think so. I think that has a big that has a lot to do with it because I'm sure when people first came off the boat from Ireland, they saw themselves as being Irish. But then again, there is this difference within generations because those people that came, you know, over from Ireland during, let's say, the early teens, or even a little bit earlier, they came and then wanted to assimilate as Americans. Like, that was their purpose. They didn't come and go, we're Irish and, you know, we're Irish American.
We're American now.
We're American now. That's what, that was the point of coming to America.
There was no ethnic pride.
Exactly.
They were trying to,
I mean, I'm sure there was as far as customs and, you know, you would have a celebration and carry over your old traditions. But at the same time, it was much more focused on, we're in America now and we want to be Americans. So I feel like that's been kind of lost now. When people come over, it's more of like...
Plus, that was... I mean, they have a generation on most, I guess, Hispanics. You know,
or two. I mean, people are still coming over now.
Right. I mean, that are FOB. But, no, I mean, like, the Ellis Island and everything, those were mainly European. We're getting culturally diverse.
It's interesting. It's off of the beaten path of the usual One Beer In podcast, but I like where we're going here.
Yeah, I got to show you guys those documentaries that I watched, man.
What documentaries?
The crocodile and the gang violence one.
That sounds horrible.
Those were amazing.
Nat Geo?
Yes, nice. Amazing. They caught a Crip shooting at a blood, like it's on film. And they just like they try not to interfere, so they just kind of stand there with the camera. And he's shooting around the corner to
oh my god,
with a revolver.
I picture like an Australian man just in like a bush.
No,
with a camera.
That's what makes it so surreal. That you take like classic Nat Geo. You say Nat Geo, you think out in the safari, watching lions and tigers and shit. No, this is in fucking Memphis, Tennessee, Oakland, California.
We're in South Central.
Gang members fighting each other. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean, it's incredibly surreal that just how different that lifestyle is. Like, there are people that just murder, and that's their job, and they just see it as a job, and they just do what they need to do.
Live by the code, man.
Like, that's real. Like,
that's real life. Yeah,
you see it in like
we joke about it in movies.
You see it in movies.
And,
you see it in TV shows.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That actually exists.
There are real people that do that live that life.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, Vice does a really good job of documenting a lot of stuff that's kind of out of the norm on TV.
If their website wasn't such shit, then I'd...
Yeah, I just follow them on YouTube. Yeah. It's kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even suggest following them on Facebook because they have so many garbage articles nowadays.
It's terrible. Have you ever like looked at Vice, like their articles and stuff?
Yes.
Like, this guy, he just hung out with a porn star for a week.
They had a recent article that was like the biggest hipster piece of garbage that I've ever read in my life, and it was all Beatles songs are bad, but these are the worst.
There you go. They did that with Radiohead. They were like, everyone who dislikes or who likes Radiohead, you're stupid. Basically, was the article. And then this guy goes on for three or four paragraphs talking about how terrible Radiohead was. Which, okay, I get, now, they're a polarizing group. Some people don't like them. That's fine. But how does a guy get paid to write an article about how much he doesn't like, and not only how much he doesn't like Radiohead, but insulting people who
do like it, right?
The dudes who work for Vice who are out like in the Middle East and they're getting shot at and shit, I respect the hell out of those dudes who like want to bring real news to people. Like I respect the hell out of that.
How upset do you have to be being that reporter? Like, what the fuck?
Right, that he's getting like
who cares about the Beatles and then just like bullets flying.
You've got to click like through 3 different pages to get to his fucking YouTube page, but the front page is why the Beatles suck and why you suck. Yeah, I would be mad if I was that dude who's putting his fucking life on the line just to be fucking, you know, have some asshole,
or not by
getting
the Beatles.
Top billing,
not by the Beatles,
not by the Beatles,
a Beatles hater for no reason. It's probably and those people who write those articles are probably people who do like those artists, but they do it just to fuck with people. It's just sensationalism. They're just trying to get people to come on to their... Like, when they see people in the comment section talking about you're the worst writer ever and you're terrible, those people still clicked on the page and read the article. And that's what it's about.
I hope not. I hope they didn't click. I don't click when I usually just go straight to the comments to go...
I unfollowed the page because I just couldn't take it anymore.
I understand.
Couldn't take it. I unfollowed XXL magazine because all their articles were like, I saw an article today... I shit you not. And I was going to try to gather as many ridiculous articles as I could find and then say them in a serious voice to see which ones you guys could figure out were like real articles or not.
That's good. Bring that segment back.
Okay, I will.
I like that.
This article is from hiphopdx.com and it was Sir Mix-a-Lot names his top 3 butts. That was an article. That was a real article that they felt people actually cared about.
Butts are in,
Sir Mix-a-Lot names his top 3 butts. Why?
Because he likes big butts.
He cannot lie.
Exactly. He can't
lie. So we know
fact.
what he's going to say is the truth, Ruth. Yeah, so...
Sir, what does your anaconda like?
I'll tell you.
Buns.